Whether the shaky marriage. Here's the situation. Wife had a long-term emotional affair with her business partner who is a younger man, engaged, was always leery of texting etc. between them but did not really know the extent. Just friends came up a lot, of business stuff came up a lot, basically. It was bullcrap. Marriage had been on the decline for a few years after birth of fourth son. We have 4 boys, 10-year-old twins, a 6 and a 5. Now, the business startup required traveling for certification classes by the 2 of them, which I protested huge but to no avail, and the last trip a condo was shared by them and another student. Though I have never seen a photo nor know her name, when I found out about this, I totally flipped. It was about Nov of last year, and though this caused a major wedge between us and was an ongoing issue that was not skirted, he became, or probably already was, a PA. In late December I discovered of dirty texting on her phone which had been locked down for 2 years. Phone records show a progression, 15,000 to 32,000 texts per month for 2019. After discovery I blew up totally. Met the guy to scare him off, which at least paused things, no business together. I counseled a lawyer that next week, did not file. She did, to which scared the hell out of her, and she opened a separate account, got a second cell phone, the whole bull crap. All this time other man had a fiancée and married her 2 weeks after the affair was discovered as planned. I did not expose the affair out of compassion for her. I know, over the past year's time the couple had become close to our family, coming for cookouts, drinking etc. I monitored pretty closely their actions together, and although the situation was uncomfortable, it was cloaked in the start of this business and the differences in age and the fact that the families, including my kids, were involved in these get-togethers, which were really pretty friendly. The couple even joined us when we took the kids camping, and we joined them when they camped with his family. Yes. I know, but in the thick of it, it became, if you can't beat them, join them. We have obvious barrier issues here, and just how physical it was is really unknown, but let's face it, they went on several business trips together, so I'm not foolish to think the affair went physical only at the end when I caught the texting about her physical affair during a study session. Fast forward to now 7 months later. I went from aggressive "I'm divorcing you" first 2 months to "we need to save this for not only the kids but us, and I can get past it if we can develop a better relationship etc. Past 4 months. I am willing to do the heavy lifting to get us where we need to go, but MC fizzled out because she refuses to go anymore. Time fell the tact, doesn't want to go. She will not go to PC, which I think she needs either. After I recommitted, I did smother her to make her feel better. Went out of my way to do nice things. Cornered her with relationship talk etc. I know bad. I have backed off, made her choose to stay or go, and she decided to stay in the marriage, but even with the kids seemed hesitant. So I have given her some space. Day after her birthday we have a fight about her other phone, and since that I have distanced myself, stopped trying to sleep in the bed with her. Our kids wind up in the bed most of the time anyhow. Another issue, I know, I have no desire to pursue her. I'm starting to feel better when she leaves. I'm kind of not liking it when she returns, and I'm about fed up with the whole thing. There are big red flags which are deal breakers here, I know, so we almost don't need to address. The other phone, which she says is just used music now but has a contract, so it's still a phone and really was put in place to be able to contact other man or whoever without a trace. Still funneling money into a separate account, claiming she spends it on the kids and entertainment. She did say she would keep that until we are in the clear, as she would have no resource for D. Took a promotion and is now the supervisor of the other man. Though said she is sorry, shows little remorse, and will absolutely not bring up anything about our marriage, attempting to show transparency or rebuild trust. I have made it clear it is up to her to fix this. There are others. This is getting long. Basically it's a soup of poop that is stagnant and getting hard to exist with. I want a good reconciliation. I want our marriage to work. I don't want our kids to grow up in 2 households. I really didn't think it was that bad. She's gone back and forth on this. I will absolutely and have tried to own my side of the mess. Not being emotionally supportive, focused on money, being a grumpy person, detached from our relationship during the parenting whirlwind etc. Marriages don't fail because of one side usually. I know this. I am looking for what I can do to help the situation, and I firmly believe she needs to want to do the right things for this to work, or this rug sweeping will cause her or even I to stray again and just mess it all up. The dust has settled a lot for me, so I am not in the high emotion state, and I need a lot from my wife that I have not gotten. I am heavily considering exposing the affair to the other side, which I did not do for compassion of his wife. Is it still going on? Honestly, I do not know, and unbiasedly could see it either way. I scared the crap out of the guy and he married his fiancée but still works out of the same office. I would say, required. Physical contact in the workplace is minimal as they are off-site medical workers and see patients all over. Not dumb enough to believe if they wanted it to be underground that it would be. And I would not know. This has been a journey and I have done work to put myself in a better place mentally and physically. I have done the reading and research and know more now than I ever thought about relationships and what makes them tick. I have given her more than enough space and compassion for her situation too, but I'm at the end of my rope and heavily considering divorce, though I know we have not tried everything and I do love my wife. I would love to hear from someone in my shoes who has dealt with a spouse who has shown little remorse and continued to enact selfishly in the wake of discovery and attempted reconciliation. We have a beautiful family, but I know I cannot control her. I want some good advice here. I'm considering blowing up his side and filing next week, but the fact is we have not had a talk about our marriage in over 8 weeks, just been grinding along. I blew up the affair to mine and my W family immediately. I sat down with her father and told him what happened and that I would divorce her. And to her brother as soon after I walked away from her on the day of D. Her brother is getting married this weekend and I am going to wait until after to act so that our crap is not in the air for their day. I am really close to her family. They have been supportive to both of us, which is nice. Should I blow up his whole family? Like his mom, dad, wife, brothers, sisters? I've discovered she's the me in their relationship. I'm thinking nuclear on his side. He told me there would be no more contact, but he continued to work with her. So I'm saying all's fair at this point. Messages left for OM's wife. Comments: she's mad, she's going to freak out, she's going to unleash her power on all of us. How many requests do you have to make of her where she tells you to duck off before you put a stop to this crap? What are we supposed to believe about you, and what kind of message are you sending when your family camping trips includes the guy that's been having fun with your wife? The woman can't have any respect for you, my man. Unless you want to keep being owned by this woman, you've got to draw a hard line. Call it tough love. Tell her if she doesn't like it, take some of that money she's sticking aside and use it to get her another place. In the meantime, tell her if she's planning on staying with you, get her resume updated and put in her 2 weeks' notice. And it's fine with you if her boyfriend can make her a better offer. I ditched her long ago and been settled in with another by now. You have to follow the advice here and not waver. R is a very rough and ugly road and both people have to be completely committed to R. Read Bandit's last post and follow it. When you go see your doctor for an STD test, it will be a real low point for you. You will live through it, but it will see how far down your WW has taken you. Exposed to her family, and if the kids are old enough, tell them what is going on. OP responds: I appreciate the tough love. I think some of it is a bit over the top. I feel good that the other man's wife and family know. I do feel for the wife because I know the pain she feels today. I know this has saved her in some way. We all know that for my kids a big fat textbook R would be best, however. She would need to come pretty far out of this and start turning new leaves like it was fallen to get my attention, which sucks because I do not have that faith in her anymore. I'm pretty far gone. It feels selfish because of my children and because I view this as a sickness with her and believe I should wait out the storm. Part of this is midlife crap, most of it is she's a selfish woman and wants everything. My lawyer is booked 2 weeks out and I have an appointment. I don't know if that is a good thing or if I should push to file quicker. I have always felt that once I file, I better be absolutely sure. 2 weeks from now should be enough time. Enough time has passed already. I think I'm sure now. I cannot live my life that way and I know it. I will not go about it that way, and this is the way it is headed. I am hearing all of you and what you are saying. I'm probably close to throwing in the towel here. There has been a lack of movement by her on all fronts, definitely a rug sweeper. I have been in a stagnant spot here. I didn't expect to reveal to the other man's W just yet, but the timing was right and I'm heavily leaning toward filing for D next week. And not as some half threat. I feel like either way D or a good R is a win right now, but this half-life. Just ignored it till it went away. Open to it happening again crap that you accurately describe will not do for me. This I pledge to all of you. Sure, there is a lot on the line with my boys, but I had a strong father and I won't have my boys grow up seeing half a marriage so they can then go have half a marriage. No way. She is no dummy and knows what this would take. I am trying to determine a good progression of steps. I've told the other man wife. Which is a good start in turning around my past failures in this. I think I should have one sit-down discussion with my W to present these boundaries in a formal letter that she would need to agree to. Or not, and that's it. 100% commitment to marriage. I see in marriage counseling. 100% transparency and nothing ever hidden again. No contact and no contact letter, considering including that all four of us sit down together in this as well. I'm ready to file on this marriage as bad as I want to see it saved. I pretty much know she'd never go for these things, but I think I should present them. He'll only fight for what is worth winning, right now. That would only consist of an intact family with a good marriage. I learned long ago that nobody really winds up in control. She has to want to reconcile with me, and for the right reasons. I cannot be manipulative with her. She is far too smart. I have been a bit of a doormat here and have tried to comfort her, give her space and see where things lie. The dust has settled and she'll take no action. I simply have to. I exposed the affair to other man's wife, mom, dad, and brother. They seem like a good family, and I believe it will end the affair if it was still going on. If not, then at least it is exposed to enough people that the other man cannot simply talk it away with just his wife. That needed to happen. She would have been manipulated by him or made to believe I was nuts, etc. This has already happened once, and I did not follow through to expose it before, which was a mistake. My W would never allow herself to be treated like a child, although the behavior on her part in this affair was very childlike. I have been in a parental role with her for far too long leading up to this. I stopped this immediately after D. The only true fix that I see is a partnership based on solid ground and trust, which can only be gotten with her full commitment. I've been nice. I've been mean. I've been generous, and I've been short. Nothing works. I realize that the whole thing may just be over and I'm chasing a ghost, but for my family I have to be sure. That's all. Our marriage is not healthy. I had a role in that, as much as her. I can forgive if she'll work to make me trust. Tactics will not in themselves work. I'll never make or let her do anything or not. Though I do believe she is attempting mind games, as this is her thing. Passive-aggressive do or do not do things to make others act out their anger. Which I am now very, very onto. It has to be for real, and I do not have faith it will happen, for real. That sucks, and I'll accept it if that is the way. I'm surprisingly not worried about any court stuff or looking to stick it to her. Scorched earth. Our kids are young and the whole mess belongs to all of us, and any alimony will just be spent on them. Which would be anyhow. I appreciate the info from all sides, but the fact is that in my case I do not really have any further need to James Bond her. I know she had a heavy emotional affair that went physical. If it is still going on is unknown, but that is irrelevant. She has to want to stop. Give me the proof anyone would require, knowing that the affair is over. And show massive amounts of true remorse. Or we divorce. I agree that she cannot be penned or forced into this and have any shot at happiness or reconciliation with my W. And I agree, my boys will be better off seeing me in a healthy relationship than wondering why we don't dance at weddings and sleep in separate rooms. That's bullcrap, and I won't have them mirror a marriage like that in their lives. Regardless of the outcome of this marriage, I will be on much more solid footing in future relationships with my wife or other women. I welcome any comments or support for what has worked to help you all in your relationships after an affair, including that of WS's. I do really want to look at this from all angles, regardless of our path. Small update, small recap. Went from divorce to attempt to R, tried counseling, chasing, being nice, being mean, trying to talk rationally. W became OM's supervisor recently at work. No transparency or attempts to rebuild trust on her end really ever. Just rug sweeping. An argument led to my current state, which is from me, a total withdrawal. 180, still civil. Avoid her as much as possible. Do some family things together, not attempting to kiss. Bond, say I love, all that. This has been for almost 2 months. I exposed affair to OM's wife, mom, dad, and brother last week. I am ready to file for D next week. Went for STD test yesterday to make sure, with the intention to move on. Facts are that I at one time loved this woman. We had a marriage in distress, kids, bills. I'm a jerk sometimes, I'll own that part. There are issues behind all this, and we have a beautiful family, but her lack of action has made me believe it's gone. We're friendly roommates, and I'm about done here. Would love to hear from some cheaters. What did it take to wake up? What did it take to hit the switch? I'm really not looking for a magic solution, but once I file, I won't back down and want to be sure I've done what I can on my end, and I know that I have not, and I have 4 little boys to think about in this. A week later, filed for divorce. Enough is simply enough. It isn't even the matter of her lack of remorse. That could be linked to pride. It's the absence of any compassion for me over time. Story 2. How to save this. My husband of 6 years told me he loves me but isn't in love with me. He has agreed to try and get a spark back. He is still affectionate and tells me he loves me. But when I ask him what he's feeling, he still says he is leaning towards divorce. We have been working on it for about a month. I don't know if I should push him to make a choice or just keep moving forward. We have 2 children. I checked his phone and email and nothing suspicious. I also came right out and asked him, and he said that there was no one else. That he just didn't feel a spark between us. I went through a depression and let myself go. I gained 20 pounds and wasn't all that nice. I have been feeling great for a few months now. Lost the weight and feel really good. He says he is just here for the boys at this point. He also says that he wants to get feelings back for me so that I don't screw him over in a divorce. He has admitted to flirting with other women and how that made him feel good. I don't know how he would have the time for an affair. He works a lot and then comes home. There isn't any time that isn't accounted for. A month later, he said he liked flirting with other women and didn't find me attractive, but not sure if he wanted a divorce. He said he would try. A couple of weeks later, I started getting a gut feeling there was someone else. He of course denied it. I guilted him into admitting he talked to a 26-year-old female coworker, but it was innocent. I didn't believe him but had no proof, so I told him he needed to choose between talking with her and being with me. He chose being with me. Fast forward to a week ago. I found the secret cell phone. Many texts about how hot he thought she was and just give him time and he will divorce me, etc. When confronted, he was very remorseful, said he didn't love her. He just wanted to screw her. Long story short, he says he feels like he owes it to the kids and me to give us a real try. The catch is she still works with him. He ended things with her and management knows about it and told them both that if it continued, she would be fired on the spot. From reading the texts, I got the impression that he was more into it than her. That she more or less just liked the attention and control she had. My question is, having anyone heard of people involved in something like this continuing to work together platonically? He says he can handle it. Comments: he is obsessed with her. He is attracted to her and infatuated with her. He has spent a lot of time and effort to court her. He took the trouble to buy a secret cell, for goodness sake. He gets a hormonal reward hit in the brain from any interaction with her. That includes calling her, messaging her, texting her, whatever communication form he was using, but it also includes seeing her without saying a word. Hitting on her became an escapist fantasy for him, highly addictive. Not technically physically addictive, but an extremely bad habit, a compulsions, like shopping, gambling, involve a hormonal dopamine reward circuit that can actually be measured in the brain physiologically. Since taking an interest with her, you can actually measure the difference in his brain. If you had a baseline view of his brain from before his attachment. Worse still, you have evidence that this relationship may have been largely one-sided. One-sided obsessions are extremely tough to crack. In other words, if it's true it never went physical, she's the one who got away. His ruminating and obsessing over her is a way for him to forget, temporarily. That's he's married, tied down, committed to one person. Middle-aged, must work to pay the bills, etc. All of that stuff that causes anxiety, stress, and depression. Some people turn to alcohol. He turned to this co-worker. This isn't just a switch that he flips because you found the phone and his boss is watching. I know it's an enormous thing to ask, but I would not risk my marriage over his keeping that job. OP responds, I felt that she should leave the position as well. He is a doctor and she is one of his assistants. He pretty much told me that if he wanted her gone, she would be, but that he would resent me for making him do that and going without help until they find a replacement for her. His office manager doesn't want to get HR involved because it would be messy. Part of me wondered if I should contact HR anonymously. I just don't know what to do. He has always been a workaholic, but I wouldn't say arrogant. I think he is going through some sort of midlife crisis at this point and that the younger girl was an ego boost. His logic was that now that they have the threat of her being fired over their heads, that he is not going to pursue her anymore and she hasn't been the aggressor, so he doesn't feel like she would do anything. He kind of plays it off like it wasn't about her as a person, he just wanted to screw her. I feel like this at crossroad and I don't want to do anything to push him away. I know it sounds crazy with what he is putting me through, but I love him and I don't want to have regret. He feels that he cannot quit, and being a doctor he doesn't think he will be able to find as good of a job as he has now with the hospital system. Honestly, I fear that he would divorce me rather than have her fired, and that scares me. That is part of the reason I haven't demanded anything from him when it comes to this OW. Just before the speech I got over my depression. Since the speech I have lost 30 pounds and have been very affectionate towards my H. I didn't know he was unhappy, and now that I do, I am trying to fix it. I can say that I feel really good about how I have been behaving towards him. I just don't know how to deal with him working with her. What about if I built some goodwill first, make things really good here throughout the holidays, and afterwards see how things stand with him and the other woman? I know him seeing her brings it all back, but if I demand that she leave, wouldn't he just think about her more? Maybe even feel guilty about it and blame me, pulling away from me and running to her rescue. I don't want to seem like a weak woman here. I know what I want and what I deserve. I just want to play my cards right. I have given him numerous opportunities to leave. Yet he stays. I know he still has some feelings for me. Maybe if I show him how good it can be with me, he will just naturally pull away from her. I don't know. I just don't want to push him too fast. It's only been a week since he was caught, and they weren't even texting more than a month. Still, wrong is wrong. I am so unbelievably sad right now. How did I get here? We have a counseling session on Wed. Should I wait until then to bring it up? I am so terrified. We have 2 beautiful little boys, 6, 4, and I have 3 children from a previous marriage. I have been through divorce once and know how damaging it is to the kids. I always swore I would never do that again. Deep down, I don't want to give him an excuse to divorce me, if he's going to do it. I want him to be man enough to decide. I don't want to hear, well, you couldn't handle me working with her even though I was fine, so you ultimately caused this. I told H last night that I didn't see us working if he still worked with her. His response was that he felt that if he demanded she leave, then he would feel a lot of guilt. He also said that he would resent me for removing her from his life without him knowing if his feelings would just fade. That is his hope, that he and I will work on things and feelings for me will get stronger and feelings for her will fade. He says there is no way for them to have a relationship as long as she is working with him. She will be fired. He says that he wouldn't be the only one affected if she left. She works with another one of his partners 2 days a week, and how would it be explained to them? He said that he sees it being worse for us if I demand that he can't work with her. He wants to handle it and not be told what to do by me. I'm still going to bring it up in counseling tomorrow, and we will go from there. As for his office manager, yes, she knows. I spoke with her as well. The situation is that he is a doctor in a hospital system, basically. An employee just the same as his assistant, although he has more pull. According to his office manager, she did not want to get HR involved because it would get messy. She wanted to move her to another office in the building quietly, but there was nowhere for her to go. She asked my H what he wanted to do, that she could fire her or try and have her transferred, but HR would be involved. He told her that he could handle working with her. The coworker was asked if she wanted to continue working there or be transferred, and she said she could handle staying there and she wouldn't have any contact with H outside of work. The manager knows that the texts were not work-related. I didn't tell her the details. She didn't want to hear them. I only asked her if we needed to save the text messages that were on the phone. Yes. I read every one of them. H didn't delete a single one. The manager said it wouldn't matter what was said in the text. Just because she texted them doesn't mean she didn't feel like she needed to, because she looked to him as her boss. Manager is also off on maternity leave, so I think that has something to do with her brushing it under the rug. Coworker signed something stating that it was a mutual thing as well. Oh, and the texts from her were playful in nature. Sometimes suggestive, like, if you knew what I was thinking, you'd be having an affair right now, and that wouldn't be good for anyone, and too bad you are married, to which he replied, give me time. They talked about what it would be like if they were together. He mostly. She said she didn't think she was good enough. He said things like good morning sexy. Beautiful. Once he called her my queen. I know they talked on the phone while he was away on business for over 2 hours, and I know it got physical because she sent a text saying I just had the best time. Thank you. I know they talked on the phone on and off too for that month. Towards the end she said something like, it seems like you are working on your marriage more than you say, which is fine. He replied that it wasn't a matter of if, it was more of when he was going to divorce me. When this all came out, I sent her a text message letting her know I knew. My husband called in sick to work that day. She panicked and went to my friend who works there saying that she was innocent. That she was always for us working things out, and she told him to work on his marriage. She also said that he asked her if she would be there when he was divorced, and she told him she wasn't going to put her life on hold. He responded that there were other nurses. Options for him. She told my friend to tell me that he had a secret phone and that she didn't think she was the only one he was texting, basically. Threw him under the bus. After DD, I spent the day at a friend's house, came home and told him that he needed to pick which he wanted to do. be here in this marriage or leave. I then went on to tell her what I thought about her. That she was playing him for a fool, she was manipulative, and she didn't care about him because she basically threw him under the bus when things went south. He said that before my talk he was set to tell me he wanted a divorce. But after my talk he changed his mind. That somewhere in the back of his mind he had a feeling she was just playing him, but he ignored it because of the overwhelming urge to sleep with her. He called her that night and told her they couldn't continue talking outside of work, and he told me he wanted to try with me. That's pretty much it. Just to give an update, H came home on Tuesday and said that he talked to another woman when they had a minute alone. He said this is hard. Other woman, what is hard? H, seeing you, don't you think it's hard? Other woman, no, not at all. H, so you're okay with pretending nothing happened? Other woman, nothing did happen. My life is a lot less stressful now. I asked H how he felt. He said sad and hurt. Seems like she wants nothing to do with him. She has 2 young kids. Needs the health insurance. She didn't know how serious the consequences were. I talked to counselor beforehand. He said that while he knows it would be hard for me, that he doesn't see how he could fire her at this point. Lawsuits and bad feelings would be likely. He said for now it was best to see how focused H is at working on things. Session with H went well. H admitted to knowing he could get fired when he started things with another woman. MC wants a private session with H to explore his intense desire. Thinks he could be at risk. At home, H and I talked about his issues with women. He said he's never admitted it out loud, but deep down he's always thought he's had a problem with women. He grew up in a tourist town in which summers were filled with attractive women, and he was a bartender and had fun with a lot of women. He has no idea how many, close to 100 though. Says the feelings in the beginning of relationships are very compelling to him. Wants feelings to be redirected to me, not other women. Wants to explore issue with IC session. Says if it wasn't this other woman it would be another assistant who would more than likely be as attractive. He needs to learn to deal with it and is looking at continuing working with her as a learning experience. I know he shouldn't have contact with her. But I also see what he is saying, that if not her, it could be someone else. She seems not interested, so for now that is where we stand. I'm not overly hopeful, but I'm not to the point of making a demand of him just yet. I feel confident that if he leaves me, I will be fine. I contacted a lawyer and knew an estimate on what I would get financially, and it's enough to take care of everything I need. I am as sure as I can be that it wasn't physical. None of the texts suggested that it did. He said that being physical was a place he wouldn't take it because of his job, and he wouldn't be able to look at me in the eye if he did. He is kind of drained by work, so he doesn't even have energy for anything physical. Including me. I know I come off as passive and weak. I just don't feel strong enough right now to do anything. Between the kids and the stress H is putting me through, I feel like I am going to have a nervous breakdown. Then put the holidays on top of it. I can't eat. I've lost 38 pounds in 2 months. I can't sleep. I feel like a zombie all day and then pull it together whenever H is around to make things good. I know I am in denial. But I really want to believe him. I love him so much. He is not the same person I married. He has always been so logical and together. Always figuring out the best thing to do. Now he can't make a decision to save his life. The more I read about physical affair, the more it sounds like him. It is like he allowed himself to go down that path of fantasizing about being with other people, and now it's starting to get out of control. Days later, just an update. H is going to first IC session tonight to discuss his possible obesity. He has had a complete change of emotion. He came home from work one day announcing that he didn't have that pit in his stomach feeling when he saw his assistant, and that it was like it was before they took it to the next level. From what I've read about love addiction, once the person stops showing interest, the addict can switch quickly. He told me he's starting to feel a little something for me and that he has the urge to flirt with me and that I looked really good lately. I have been dressing nicer, etc. One thing we have going for us is that we communicate really well. Everything is changing. Shifting that I don't know which way is up. He has been very attentive lately. I don't know. I'm curious to see how IC goes for him. He's telling me things he likes and that we can't let things get back to the way they were if we are going to move forward. It's all so confusing. My guard is still up, but I'm trying to be positive. He admits it was wrong. He tells me all of the time how sorry he is. When he says that we can't let it get back to the way things were, he means on both our parts. He is being more open about what he wants and needs from me, and I am with him. As far as her showing him attention, that's an unknown. He says he doesn't know for sure what would happen. He can't see into the future. All he can say is how he feels now. And he says he doesn't feel that way towards her, he says. That ship has sailed and he feels that she wants to put it behind them as well. About 2 months later. So, my husband has continued to work with this woman. It has been hard on me. There are good days and bad days. But overall, I'm dealing with it well. Things between my husband and I have been really good. We laugh and joke. We are still having incredible bonding and he is complimenting me a lot. I have been taking really good care of myself. The house and the kids. But I put him in our marriage first. We have had a few talks about what triggered all of this and how he was able to snap out of it so quickly. The way I understand it, he became more and more unattracted to me and began resenting me because of how miserable I was. I don't blame him. He worked hard and I was a nagging woman. Now I'm not saying that that is an excuse for what he did. It isn't. I do, however, understand how he could have fallen out of love with me. I have made a lot of changes for the better and he notices and appreciates them. He also is doing more to help me around the house and his mood is much better. He says he has no urge to flirt with anyone anymore and that all of the lustful feelings for the assistant are gone. He just wants her to stay working for him because she is a really good assistant. He is very open with the interactions he has with her. He apologizes often for putting me through everything. I no longer have that sinking feeling in the bottom of my stomach. I am not so dumb as to think we are completely out of the woods. It's only been 2 months. I know that there is a chance that he could switch back just as quickly. But I really don't think it would be with this particular person. All I can do is take it day by day and always do my best. As strange as it sounds, it feels like our relationship is stronger now than it has ever been. I hope it continues this way. Another 2 months later. Not sure if anyone will respond, but I wanted to give an update. H and I have been doing really well from December to beginning of February. He started becoming distant again. I pushed him to talk and he said he's not sure why. But that he's lost that connection with me again. He finds everything I do annoying. And he doesn't know what is wrong with him. I asked him if he was connecting with another woman again and he said no. He said he recognized a pattern with himself and how he never ended a relationship without having another one started. He says he promised himself that if we don't work out that he is going to be alone for a while. He can't have the same pattern happen again. He says I'm doing everything right. He just can't figure out why he's not feeling it. I have read about the 180 and have started pulling back a little, like not saying I love you as much and not hanging around him as much. Just kind of giving him some space. I am also going to take piano lessons. It's something I've always wanted to do. He noticed the little changes and said he wishes we never talked about it because he didn't want me to change anything. I told him I didn't want to smother him but that I was in it as long as he was willing to try. My worry is this. My husband is very driven by touch. He loves to be touched. Snuggled, things like that. If I pull back on that, will that make him think, well, she's not into me? We are like roommates and just confirm what he feels. I also don't want to come on too strong and have him thinking, ugh, she is so into me but I'm not feeling it and feel guilty. I don't want to come off as sounding weak. I am just trying to figure out the best way to handle my life being turned upside down. I have 5 kids to take care of as well as myself and the house. I am trying to find time for myself and get a life outside of the family. But it is hard. Most days all I want to do is lay in bed and sleep all day. I have been through a divorce before and do not want to put my kids through that again. I know I can't control him. I just don't want to do anything that would drive him further away. Before all of this he was a very supportive, logical person. He has always been affectionate as touch is very important to him. The suicide of a close friend and his 40th birthday coming up has sent him into a tailspin. I just don't want to be another statistic. I want to survive this and be stronger than we were. So, some things have happened and I find myself getting angrier. It's almost like I have woken up and feel like I deserve a lot better. I am thinking of putting my foot down on Sunday. His parents are coming to stay tomorrow until Sunday, so I think I will wait until they leave. I'm going to tell him what I expect out of a marriage, and if he can't give me that, then it isn't going to work. I feel like this now. But I still go back and forth. What if I gave him some more time to come around? I just hate feeling like this and living in limbo. I am going to get a VAR today. I feel I need more proof before I say anything. I hate this. I'm feeling suspicious. Meanwhile, he has been more attentive. He snuggled me last night before we went to sleep. When he was leaving for work this morning, he gave me a kiss and looked me in the eye and said, "Love you." He hasn't said "love you" first in probably 2 weeks. Since I have been pulling back, I hardly ever say it. And I know I haven't said it to him in a week. I checked his email on WED, and there haven't been any playful emails between the two of them. I'm just scared. What if he is coming around and I ruin it by checking him? I don't know, I just feel like I am never going to be satisfied. He hasn't emailed her. But instead of being happy, I think he's just being sneakier. So, I put a VAR in his car. What if that comes up with nothing? Will I be satisfied then? Probably not. Then what? I just don't know. Update after a year. After 2 years of limbo, I filed for divorce. He couldn't commit to our marriage. I filed in May. I started dating right away. I realized that it's the smartest thing to do, but I needed a change of scenery. I met this great guy. I am close to introducing him to the kids, so I tell my STBX that I am seeing someone. He flips out. First angry, then after a couple of days says that he had a plan all along to destroy our marriage and start fresh. That he never really thought we would be apart. That he wants another chance. He wants me to be the center of his world, and he will spend the rest of our lives proving to me that he loves me and trusts me. I agreed to go to dinner with him. During dinner, I felt repulsed by him. I didn't want him to touch me. I told him we can't try again. He started sobbing, saying how much he wants this and can't I just try. I am so confused. I don't know what to do. Can I come back from the hurt and devastation? I was just starting to feel good, and now this. I am at a loss. I don't think he's a bad guy. I feel like he is being sincere. I just can't see myself happy with him again. I am struggling with the what if I could get feelings back with time. Deep down I feel I would be doing it for the kids and financial stability. How can a person be sure? Deep down I have felt that I shouldn't give him another chance. He is just so convincing by what he says. He is saying everything I've wanted him to say. I hate that he is making me doubt myself after I was feeling so sure about things. He declared how he would do anything to earn back my trust. He later tells me some things that he has lied to me about, including approaching the other woman after he moved out to talk about what happened because he needed closure. He bought another secret phone because he could get fired if he contacted her outside of work. The other woman did not make contact. My darling STBXH then proceeded to give her 2 letters weeks apart, basically begging her to talk to him, saying he didn't want a relationship, just to talk. She never took him up on it, and he has since thrown the phone away. Since his declarations, he has stopped contact with a female friend that he knew I had a problem with. He also is having both of his current Emma transferred because he has shared too much personal info with them. I have friends that work there and they can confirm it. He keeps swearing that he has had an awakening and that he now realizes what love is and how much he wants his family back. Is this common behavior? He is doing all of this with no promise from me that I will give him another chance. My comment: how you guys like these 2 short divorce stories? What did your partner say when you said divorce? Comment down below, sub and bell, and tell me how you like these